Hi everyone, Helga here. Welcome back to the studio. The beaded swimsuit trend has officially taken over my feed, and I just couldn't resist trying it out. Today, I'm diving into the process, and I'm taking you along for the ride. Just a heads up, this isn't going to be a classic step-by-step tutorial, since it's actually my very first time embroidering a swimsuit. I'm simply here to experiment and share my raw experience with you. I'm using an old bikini from last year that I don't mind playing around with. She is our official test subject today. Now, I've seen a lot of creators recommend stretching the fabric over an embroidery hoop before you start, warning that if you don't, the fabric will stretch on your body and the beads will bunch up awkwardly. But honestly, using a hoop on this tiny top felt way too bulky and uncomfortable. So I decided to skip it and try doing this completely hoop-free. For my materials, I'm using round sequins, bugle beads, some small cut beads, and I also have this palette of slightly larger seed beads. I'm working with a thin beading needle, and one thing I knew for sure going into this was that I needed a super strong thread like fire line. Fun fact, fire line was originally designed as a braided fishing line. So when you're actually swimming or chilling in the water, this thread won't rot or break down over time like regular sewing threads would. I already tested a tiny patch without the hoop, making sure not to pull my tension too tight, and it actually looks pretty good. So I'm moving forward with confidence. I have my needle threaded with a single strand and a clean knot at the end. I also decided to challenge myself a bit. I'm embroidering underneath the lining fabric. It takes a bit more effort, but that way, the messy back of the embroidery is completely hidden, and the threads won't chafe or irritate the skin when wearing it. I didn't sketch out a strict pattern or layout before starting. I really wanted to create a free-form, whimsical vibe, almost like a naive, cute design a kid would craft during summer camp. Just something sweet, simple, and effortless. Technique-wise, I'm using a classic backstitch, securing just one bead at a time. I'm being super careful to catch only the top layer of the fabric so I don't accidentally pierce through the lining. Remember, keeping the tension loose is key here. If you're wondering about my background, I actually do have some embroidery experience. You can see some of my intricate, delicate pieces on screen right now from back in 2020. I've been really wanting to dive back into embroidery lately, and I'm actually waiting on a special mail delivery with some new supplies to arrive soon. For me, it's just such a peaceful, meditative process. To make my lines look smooth and uniform, I like to pass my needle back through the whole row of beads at the very end. Next, let's add some sequins. They're incredibly easy to stitch down, but they add the most beautiful texture and reflection to the piece. I'm starting a new element here that's shaping up to look like a little flower, and along the edge, I'm adding rows of beads in a semicircle pattern. By the way, it's definitely a bit tricky trying not to catch the lining here, but if it happens a few times, it's really not the end of the world. Something interesting is definitely taking shape now. It kind of reminds me of whimsical underwater seaweed. And here is what the back looks like, super clean. I think I'm going to stop here on this side and jump over to the second cup. My plan isn't to make them symmetrical at all. Instead, I want it to look perfectly mismatched and beautifully chaotic. And here is the final result. I absolutely loved the process, and making this was pure therapy. As for how it actually holds up in real life while swimming and wearing it, I'll definitely keep you guys updated later on. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the update. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.